The home buying process, an overview of the steps involved in California. In this video we will discuss the process of buying a house in California, specifically in Los Angeles. We will go through the steps involved in the process, from finding a real estate professional, to putting in an offer, to closing the deal. We will also examine the three main contingencies involved in the process: inspection, appraisal, and loan. When it comes to buying a house, there are many things to consider. The process can seem daunting, especially if it is your first time. But with the right guidance and support, the process can be manageable and even enjoyable. That's where a real estate professional comes in. A real estate professional can guide you through the process and help you navigate the many nuances of buying a house in California. Once you have found a real estate professional that you trust and feel comfortable working with, the next step is to put in an offer on a house. This is where the earnest money deposit comes into play. The earnest money deposit is a refundable deposit that the buyer puts down to show that they are serious about buying the house. This deposit is typically 3% of the purchase price and is held by the escrow company, who acts as a third-party intermediary in the transaction. After the offer is accepted, the inspection, appraisal, and loan contingencies come into play. These contingencies are important because they allow the buyer to evaluate the condition of the property, determine its value, and secure financing for the purchase. Let's take a closer look at each of these contingencies. Part 1. Understanding the home buying process. In this chapter, we will provide an overview of the home buying process, including the role of the real estate professional, the importance of the earnest money deposit, and the three main contingencies involved in the process. When it comes to buying a house, it's important to understand the process from start to finish. The first step is to find a real estate professional that you trust and feel comfortable working with. This person will be your guide throughout the process and will help you navigate the many nuances of buying a house in California. Once you have found a real estate professional, the next step is to put in an offer on a house. This is where the earnest money deposit comes into play. The earnest money deposit is a refundable deposit that the buyer puts down to show that they are serious about buying the house. This deposit is typically 3% of the purchase price and is held by the escrow company, who acts as a third-party intermediary in the transaction. After the offer is accepted, the inspection, appraisal, and loan contingencies come into play. These contingencies are important because they allow the buyer to evaluate the condition of the property, determine its value, and secure financing for the purchase. Let's take a closer look at each of these contingencies. Part 2. Inspection contingency. In this chapter, we will delve into the inspection contingency, including the importance of conducting thorough physical inspections of the property, and the role of the inspector in evaluating the condition of the house. We will also discuss how to evaluate the city records, seller disclosures, and original inspection reports. The inspection contingency is an important part of the home buying process. It allows the buyer to conduct thorough physical inspections of the property and evaluate the condition of the house. During this contingency period, the buyer will have the opportunity to hire a professional inspector to examine the foundation, roof, chimney, pool, if there is one, and other systems in the house. The inspector will also look for any signs of mold, moisture, or other issues that may affect the condition of the property. Additionally, during the inspection period, the buyer will also have the opportunity to review city records, seller disclosures, and any original inspection reports that the seller may have. These records can provide valuable information about the property, including its permitting history, any violations that may have occurred, and any issues that the seller may be aware of. By compiling all of this information, the buyer can gain a better understanding of the property and make an informed decision about whether to move forward with the purchase. Once the inspection is complete, the buyer can use the information gathered to negotiate with the seller for credits or repairs, if necessary. This is an important step because it allows the buyer to address any issues that may have been discovered during the inspection, and ensure that the condition of the property is acceptable before moving forward with the purchase. Part 3. Appraisal contingency. In this chapter, we will discuss the appraisal contingency, including the role of the appraiser in determining the value of the property and how to evaluate the appraisal report. The appraisal contingency is an important part of the home buying process. During this contingency period, the buyer will hire an appraiser to determine the value of the property. The appraiser will conduct a thorough examination of the property, including an inspection of the property's condition, location, and any improvements that have been made. The appraisal report will include an estimated value of the property, as well as any other relevant information that the appraiser has gathered during the inspection. It's important for the buyer to review the appraisal report and evaluate the estimated value of the property. This will help the buyer determine if the purchase price is fair and reasonable, and whether to proceed with the purchase. Part 4. Loan Contingency. In this chapter, we will discuss the loan contingency, including the importance of securing financing for the purchase and evaluating the loan options available. The loan contingency is an important part of the home buying process. During this contingency period, the buyer will need to secure financing for the purchase. This can include obtaining a mortgage loan, or finding other financing options such as a private loan or a home equity loan. It is important for the buyer to evaluate the loan options available and determine which one is the best fit for their financial situation. This can include considering the interest rate, the length of the loan, and any other terms and conditions that may apply. By evaluating the loan options available, the buyer can ensure that they are getting the best deal possible and that they will be able to afford the mortgage payments. Part 5. Closing the deal. In this chapter, we will discuss the final steps involved in closing the deal, including signing the final documents and transferring ownership of the property. Once all of the contingencies have been met, and the loan has been approved, it's time to close the deal. The final step in the process is signing the final documents and transferring ownership of the property. This typically involves signing a purchase agreement, a deed of trust, and other legal documents. The buyer will also need to pay closing costs, which can include title insurance, escrow fees, property taxes, and other expenses associated with the purchase. The closing process can take several weeks and will require the coordination of several parties, including the buyer, the seller, the escrow company, and the lender. Once all of the documents have been signed and the closing costs have been paid, the buyer will officially become the new owner of the property. This marks the end of the home buying process and the beginning of the next chapter in the buyer's life as a homeowner. In conclusion, the process of buying a house in California, specifically in Los Angeles, is a complex one that involves several steps and contingencies. By understanding the process and working with an experienced real estate professional, buyers can navigate the process with confidence and make informed decisions about the property they are interested in buying. From the initial offer to the final closing, this blueprint provides a comprehensive guide to what it means to buy a house in California. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more videos like this. Also, be sure to check out our other videos as well. Thanks for watching.